What's going on, everyone? TM24 here, and we are back with some more Marvel Snap content. Now, I had a different video lined up for today, but we just got news of some nerfs, buffs, balance changes that have come out. So what we're going to do instead is read those, kind of talk through them a little bit, and see what we think. So I've skimmed them briefly, but I haven't read in depth about what's going on, so we're going to do this together. So as we can see, Marvel Snap, April 6th. Balance Shades notes nerf to Red Skull and Sunspot. Okay, so both of those are getting hit, and as you can see, this just came out, a few hours ago. So in an unexpected move, Second Dinner has released an over-the-air patch for Marvel Snap to address some powerful and underpowered cards in the game. The latest round of changes go live today, and out the Red Skull, Sunspot, Shadow King, and Sentry. Okay, so obviously, Red Skull and Sunspot are getting nerfed somehow, and Shadow King and Sentry are being changed / buffed. I guess we'll see. So here are the notes. So first up, Red Skull. So let's see what they got to say about him. I want to get the full thing on there. All right, so Red Skull, it's going from a 513 to a 512, so they're taking another power off. Enemy cards at this location have +1 power, so staying the same. Let's see what they've got to say, though. As our previous patch notes discussed, we last adjusted Red Skull to weaken specifically his interactions with Shuri and Taskmaster. Obviously, I mean, it's still running rampant, so I can see why they had to come after it again. Our goal is to keep his strength otherwise flat or even slightly improved, and see how things settled once we soften Thanos' grip on the metagame. Yeah, I haven't seen much Thanos either. Since they kind of hit him with the nerfs, so they were able to do that, but now Shuri is running wild. We know many players agree with that approach, and we are weighing that feedback as we continue to debate internally how aggressive our balance updates should be. All right, so they're taking a little bit more conservative approach to changes. I kind of like that. I'd rather see that than completely nerfing a card into the ground and making it unplayable. In this case, things settled into an improved metagame, but with deck space around Shuri and Taskmaster still too strong for our liking. We recognize Shuri is clearly the true offender here. Of course, I mean, everyone knows that. And we have a balance change for Shuri ready. Ooh, a balance change for Shuri ready. I wonder what that means, balance change. However, that change to Shuri needs a patch to be implemented, and we can't do it, over the air, like they said. So I think that's what OTA means. Yeah, over the air. So this is an interim adjustment to weaken Shuri's decks just a bit more. We do expect Shuri to remain viable after this Red Skull tweak, but we don't want to drastically nerf multiple innocent cards when we have an incoming nerf to Shuri herself. Once that change to Shuri's live, we will revert this or previous Red Skull changes. Maybe. Will we? Okay, maybe. Maybe we are going to give that some time because we'd rather ensure a larger shift in the metagame. All right, so they know Shuri's the problem, but they got to change her a little bit more drastically than what they can do. So in the meantime, they're hitting Red Skull with a -1. I mean, it is going to affect it. Overall, I don't know how much it affects it, maybe just a little bit, but knowing that the nerf is coming to Shuri and that maybe this is going to get changed back, I mean, it seems okay. It seems like a solid nerf. I don't think it completely kills it either. I still think Shuri's going to be viable until she's changed. But, yeah, right now I can see where they're going with this. So that's what's going on with Red Skull. Now let's take a look at Sunspot. We got the full thing up there. So 1-1 to a 1-0. Okay. At the end of each turn, gain +1 power for each unspent energy. So exactly the same. Sunspot is one of the most heavily played cards in the game. The why is obvious. He's strong, yeah. He's in Series 2, and he has powerful synergies with other cards like She-Hulk and Infinite. Yep. All spot on. I mean, in pretty much any video where I'm building a deck, and I'm like, okay, what one-drop should I include? Sunspot's the first one on the list, because he is. He's just the best one-drop. So, and he does have good synergy. So I can see what they're saying here. The opportunity cost for having him in your deck is also very low, since you only have one spare mana on any turn to unlock his strength floor, and the ceiling can be very high. Yeah, I mean, they're spot on again. Floating even just one mana, and you feel okay because it's hitting your Sunspot, and that feels great. So overall, I see what they're talking about. His floor is way too high. All of this adds up to a solid criteria for a minor nerf, creating space for less played cards to compete more often for slots and decks. We were curious if nerfing She-Hulk would have any impact on Sunspot, but truthfully, we didn't expect any change and assumed we'd be making this adjustment sooner rather than later. We did evaluate some other changes to Sunspot, but for Series 2 cards, we want to retain the elegance of the original design, just a touch weaker. As a default card in both Shuri and Thanos, this change does impact those decks a bit more than others too. So just a very, very minor nerf. How much does this really affect Sunspot? You know, I don't know. I don't think it's really that big of a deal. They are taking away one power, so he is going to be weaker, but, you know, what is that really saying? I'm not quite sure. So I think it's, like they said, maybe a needed nerf that allows other cards to be used, and I can see it for that sense, but overall, I don't think this is a huge deal. Next up, we've got Shadow King. I don't have either of these cards, so I'm gonna get both of them on the screen. I did just have Shadow King in my store, but I ended up going with a different card, which I will show you guys in an upcoming video. But let's take a look here. So 4/3 to 3/3. So they're reducing one of the costs. On reveal, set all cards here to their original base power. Okay. So same exact thing. Shadow King's whole purpose is to fight back against exactly the kind of thing that Shuri's doing, but this card simply released too weak to be a consideration for most decks. We recognize his status as a Series 4 card that's used to answer powerful decks rather than field them might limit his potential to impact the metagame. However, we're happy to just give him this boost and see where things land from here. I love the fact that they're not completely changing these cards. And just a 1 cost reduction, maybe that's enough. You know, it's a 3-drop now. It can be hit by things like Surfer. So it's got some other utility as well. I think this is a pretty good change. You know, anything becoming cheaper is going to be good for the game. So overall, I think they did Shadow King well. Honestly, when I saw him in my store, I didn't pick him up because I was like, he's, you know, when am I ever going to use him? This makes me change things a little bit, but overall, I'm not sure how much of an impact he's still going to have. I think this is a good change, though. Sentry, 4/8. Can't play this at the right location. On reveal, add a -8 power void to the right location. Exact same. And then 4/10. You can't play this at the right location. Add a -10 void to the right location. So they're adding 2 power and taking away 2 power on the void, I guess. So they're making him stronger while also making his effect a little bit weaker. So Sentry is a card that just hasn't found a great home yet. While these number changes aren't an obviously impactful buff, it does increase the potential reward for running Sentry and the potential damage donating your void with Viper can do. This is just a change we've been interested to try out, so we're making it here. Again, another minor thing. And I see what they're saying, because if you're throwing that void over with your Viper, all of a sudden, -10, you know, hurts a bit more than a -8. So I can see the change. I see the little bit of a buff to Sentry, but overall, I kind of like them. I'm not sure how much it's going to make a change. I'm not sure how much the Shadow King change is going to, you know, do anything. I think ultimately we're going to see the big changes come when those nerfs come to Shuri. But that's the balance changes for today. Overall, Red Skull, a little bit weaker. I think that's fine. I don't think it changes anything too much. But like they said, Shuri is clearly the true offender. Next up, Sunspot, minor change. They wanted to keep the original design just a touch weaker, and I think they nailed that. Shadow King, rather than feel him, his potential impact to the metagame. However, we're happy to give him a boost and see where things can't land. Again, just kind of like a change to see if it does anything. See if they start seeing some more play out of Shadow King. I'm not sure if they're going to. Especially if Shuri's going to be changed, then Shadow King might end up being, you know, he's there to counter Shuri. Like, to fight back against the type of thing Shuri's doing. If they're going to completely change Shuri coming up, which I don't know if they're going to do or not, then how viable is Shadow King then? You know, I don't know. And then the change on Sentry, you know, just a change they've been interested in trying out. So I could see it. I don't know how much it's going to change, but overall, you know, I think these are solid little tweaks for an over-the-air patch change. But overall, I think it's pretty good. I am excited / scared to see what they're going to do to Shuri, as I love playing with her, as you guys have seen. But overall, I think they did some good things here, and I love the way they're going about doing this, not completely killing cards. So that I'm really, really happy for. I like these changes. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And hey, hit subscribe if you want some more content like this, some deck guides, deck ideas, and then some high-level gameplay. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and remember, have some fun, and I'll see you in the next one.